the time has come to talk about this car a little bit. This here, if you've not seen my post, is a 1987 Monte Carlo SS. And, you know, I've mentioned on the channel, I've been wanting a G body for quite a while. And this was a chance I just could not pass up. So before I really look at the car, I'm gonna just walk around the car here and just tell you a little story about how this came to be. So, you know, I was just around. I've always searched cars like Grand Nationals, you know, Regals, and you know, Oldsmobile 442s and things like that on Facebook. And and I've always wanted to get me a G body, but I just, you know, I just didn't have the money. Just, well, not just say to have the money, but the cost that these cars, if you get a good one, how much they cost, which would be, you know, especially a Grand National, you're talking, I don't know, 25 to 30,000 for an okay one, and probably 40, 50, 60 for a good one, maybe, right? And so anyway, I saw this car here on Facebook and I saw the price of it. It was like $12,000, right? And the guy was like, so I was, you know, I just looked at it because it had a T-top, and the T-top was intriguing to me because I've always wanted a T-top, because that's the conflicting thing with me. Do I want a Grand National one day if I ever had the money to get one, or do I want like a T-top? And I'll tell you why I want a T-top real quick before I move on with the story here. And that was, I went to Charlotte, North Carolina one time to play in this chess tournament, the very first tournament I ever played in. And it was in a Hilton. So when as I was going into the hotel, there was somebody pulling up in what I thought was a white Grand National. I thought it was the craziest thing. You know, at that time I didn't really even know a Grand National was a Regal. So I walked over to the car and said, man, what kind of Grand National is this? And he said, oh no, basically he explained to me it was a T-type, it was a type 1, and it even had a T-top in it. So, anyway, I fell in love with the T-top by seeing it. And I hadn't seen one in long. I mean, I seen them as a kid, but I hadn't seen one in many, many years. And we'll talk a little bit more about this right here in a minute. Not really an issue, you'll see. But anyway, so I was like, I had this tall order, because, you know, I'm one of those guys that like stuff original. So I said, damn, I want me some sort of G body with an original powertrain and a T-top. But that's in, you know, fairly okay condition. It has to be in great condition, because again, if you get them in good condition, you know you're obviously going to pay a lot of money for them, right? So anyway, I ended up contacting the guy about this car. I kind of didn't really have an intention on buying it, but I was just curious. So, because he said the car only had 74,000 original miles on it. So, and I got some conflicting information that could be true and it might not be true. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I contacted him, asked him about the VIN number. I asked him about the you know, and the AC. That's the two things I asked him. So he said the AC didn't work, which actually it does. And he sent me the VIN number. So I searched the VIN, and I kind of got more interested. I was like, man, this is the best price I've seen on a car like this, in this shape, that runs well, and is original, and has a T-top. So I contacted the guy back and said, hey man, look, I can come check the car out and see what's happening. All right, so he said the car runs like a top. He replied, and basically he said he had just drove to Jacksonville, North Carolina from his house. I went to Bath, North Carolina, and picked this car up. So that's about, I think he said it was like 160 miles. He drove it like a couple of weeks before he sold it, which is probably true. And I'll tell you why that in a minute. So anyways, I ended up you know, texting him back. Well, he called me and we talked. And so he was like, let me back up a little bit. Yeah, he called me and talked, and then he was just like, "Oh, so many people be BSing around. Nobody's coming to get the car. Somebody from some restoration company from Georgia wants to come get the car. They want to wire me the money, but I don't believe in money being wired. I need cash. You know, that kind of stuff." And I was just like, "Why?" And so I'm kind of, you know, first of all, I'm lucky because that guy, whoever, probably would have came and bought the car right. But anyway, there was so many other people that was going to come look at this car before I could get to it. So anyway, I contacted the guy again after he talked, and I couldn't get through to him. And I was like, oh my goodness. I said, please, let me just get through to this guy. I said, this is the only chance I got. And I sat down and thought about it. And so anyway, I finally got through to the guy, to make a long story short. And what happened was that he said he had somebody coming that day. And I said, look, I tell you what, I'm an hour and a half away from you. I got a family member that's willing to come pick me up right now, and I can stop by the bank and get the money. Oh, wait a minute, let me back up. One other thing. Okay, so in between that time I didn't talk to him, he went back and changed the Facebook post to say, basically, I'm tired of dealing with people. If somebody show up with $10,000, they can just come get the car. I'm tired of, you know, basically. I was like, oh crap. So anyway, so that was even more of an incentive. So anyway, to make a long story short, I finally got through to the guy. Got somebody to come pick me up that day, thankfully, and drive me an hour and a half, no, 2.5 hours to this guy's house, which I think is 144 miles from here. And we sat there and talked for a little while. Cool old guy. He was 87 years old. He still builds little small engine water aircraft. That's, you know, little single pilot planes, I guess, that can land on water. Yeah, I mean, he had his own shot. This was crazy. This guy still wheels. It drives, sounds sharp. I mean, it's amazing. But anyway, so anyway, I go to the house. We talked for a little while. So anyway, we end up going to a True Value hardware store and getting the title notarized. You know, it's a little country out there, so they ain't got that many stores out there, but still. So I went ahead and paid the guy and drove it 144 miles home. So in other words, I'm saying that's why I think the car, he actually may have drove it to Jacksonville, North Carolina. So now, what is the conflicting information I have about the mileage? Well, first of all, when I looked up the Epic VIN on Epic VIN and on Carfax, and it said that the last known recorded mileage for this car was 83,000 miles back in '94. Now, I don't know if that's a typo or something or not, because if you come in here, I don't know how well this comes through, but these seats, I mean, look really good. I mean, of course, there's a little something here, and the gas pedal, I don't know how well that's going to come. To try to zoom in on it. The gas pedal, the pedals don't seem worn at all. I mean, the odometer could have rolled, but I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't feel like it in terms of how the car runs, how the transmission shifts, and how the interior looks. And I do think this car, and then I checked the history, and the history says the car was registered every year, but I think the car had bouts of sitting still. Because you can tell by how when I move around the car, I guess I'll show you. I'll open the trunk up in a second, but I think the car has set he might occasionally drive a little bit, change the oil, and here's some evidence for that. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that sticker right here. Let me see if I can back up and get it into focus here. This sticker right here. Can I get that into focus? This sticker right here, yeah, says changed by 77,300 or 529.24. Okay, so if this car, because usually these cars from back in the days would usually be on schedules of 3,000 miles or 3 months. Now we look down here at the actual at the mileage on the car. It says 74,843. So this car has only been driven, if that's a 3,000 mile interval, this car has only been driven 500 miles since March of last year. February of last year, assuming that this is a 3,000 mile, 3 month oil change interval. So in other words, what I'm saying again is that this car, even though it's been registered every year, I think it was driven some, but not a whole lot. That's just my belief. Now, why does the history say 83,000? But yeah, that could be maybe the odometer has maybe that it really is 174,000 miles, but that would be yeah. I mean it's but the conflicting point is the physical attributes of the car. Like the pedals are not really that worn, and the seats are not really that worn, and the drivetrain, it really runs great. So who knows? But either way, I'm happy with the car, regardless whether it has 74,000 or 174,000. Because again, I'm not going to be driving the car like every day or anything. Or it's just going to probably be. I'd say I'd probably drive this car maybe 1,000 miles a year, maybe a few thousand miles a year at most. But I doubt if I even drive it that much. But anyway, let's back up here and get out for a second. So anyway, this is the old classic. If anybody know, this is the classic radio you saw in a lot of the GM vehicles back in the days. I'm sorry about the camera angles here. Not much damage in terms of the dashboard here. I got this. Let me take this camera off this thing because I really need to hold this camera because it's my what you call is in the way here, so I can't really get good views. But here we go. Now I'm good. So the dashboard. Obviously, so it looks pretty good. I mean, he drilled a few holes in here, putting things in here because I think he had some CBs and things like that. But overall, I mean, that's a little. And he lived right on the river in the salt water in the Pamlico Sound. So you see that little galvanization. I guess I don't know if that's the right word, but that oxidation, if you want to call it that. There's other little things in here, like you see that handle, the black part there on the little strap, but over here it's missing, things like that. But I mean, that's okay. The power locks, I think the power lock on the passenger side locks the door, but not on the driver's side. But that's okay. I'm gonna go. It's probably just the fact that maybe some wires have gotten brittle, or maybe even some road. Anything could have happened. But that's gonna be everything I'm gonna fix here in this car. It got the shifter here. The instrument cluster, let's talk about that for a second. The gas hand in it does not work. And the tack hand, it does work, but it doesn't work properly. Like when you're driving the car going 40 miles an hour, the hand is all the way over here like 5,000 RPM. But it's not doing 5,000 RPMs. It's just, obviously it's just probably just all from being old. And lots of other things, but everything generally, the major stuff works. I need to get a new stick here. This here is broke. I've looked at this website already called Dixie Restorations. GMparts.com. They seem to have a lot of stuff like this here. So that's gonna be stuff. I'm not that worried about it right at the moment. But yeah, I mean, this is the interior here. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna pop the trunk real quick before we pop the hood. All right, so we're in the trunk here, and trunk is pretty clean. I mean, it just need to be vacuumed, no spare tire, no a jack. But I had took this coolant and this oil with me, and I took a bunch of other stuff like air compressor, what else? A battery jumper, a toolbox, and some other. I took a few things with me just in case something happened. But you can see already, I've got my other 3 shocks coming, so I'm gonna do a lot of refreshing here. I got a box of goodies over here, as you can see. All sorts of things here. The transmission. These hoses here are gonna be changed. I'm gonna change these radiator hoses. Got some oil filters and thermostat. And if you got a whole box of stuff that's gonna be here today, actually 2 boxes of stuff. So the trunk looks good, and so you can this is the kind of stuff I'm saying how you can tell it probably sits for a while. You see how this stuff is just looks generally, nothing is rusted through. You got surface rust, but yeah, it's like you can see how this just, I don't know, it just looks like it's something that has just been sitting. It has periodic bouts of sitting. And yeah, so it looks, but overall it looks good. I will say the car has been painted once. He said he might have done it himself because he actually had a paint booth there because he painted the airplanes as well. Wait a minute. Okay, let me just leave that up for a second. But anyway, I can show you this. This is the original color of the car. This is what was painted over top. It just wasn't the greatest. Just probably looked like somebody didn't even clear coat it. Just went right over top. And so yeah. But anyway, eventually I'm gonna probably get it painted. I'm fine with the car how it is. Honestly, I'll leave it like it is. It doesn't really matter to me, long as it runs good. And the inside is, pretty good. The tires, of course, these tires are quite old. Look at that there, the date code somewhere down there. I don't feel like looking, bending down. But anyway, you see little rusty stuff like up under here. Like up under here. Oh, did I get that? I wish I had my light, but I don't count in the middle. But anyway, it's not anything. I mean, it's in terms of rust. Again, you're just gonna see the normal surface rust or the rust like on the back side of the door or the bottom side of the door, for example. Let me see if I can get a quick example here. I think on the other side it was better. Oh yeah, like this right here. You see that little, like you see rust like this, for example. Not so bad. I mean, that's kind of normal. But again, overall, nothing is rusted like completely through in terms of the body or something that would take a substantial amount of body work if I ever decided to get it done. But because this car's in North Carolina, off the coast, and what I want to say, inside the garage, like I said, I don't even care about getting a lot of this stuff done, but maybe I will. But you see right up under the door here, like for example, like right here, little rusty areas, little holes there. That does have holes in it, but that's okay. That's not terribly bad. And if you look right down the door here, again, not terribly bad, but again, the car was covered. It wasn't inside a garage. He had it was covered, like with a like something you drive on. I don't know what you want to call it. But other stuff like this, I'll get fixed, like this window seal thing here, and just little stuff I'm gonna be doing myself periodically, but all secondary. But what is the major thing I want to get done here? Let me pop the hood and show you real quick. Get us a little light here so we can see. That should be good enough. All right, so we up under the hood, and yeah, I mean everything is pretty original. There's some stuff that's kind of I want to say makeshift. Like this is not original. Like I guess the coolant. I mean, not coolant. The windshield wiper reservoir there kind of probably got brittled and cracked, and he sort of made up something there. It works, but stuff like that, I'll actually fix that stuff like that for real, like it should be. Like for example, like it's little things like this. I just want to point out some anomalies first. Like I guess around this hose here, the way it's connected with these clamps here. They got it covered here. This is like, these aren't probably the right clamps right here. Cause this is actually it's probably leaking AC right here. Oh, by the way, I told you the AC worked when I first contacted him. He said it didn't, but when I got there, he said, no, I messaged him again about the AC. And he said, oh yeah, it actually does work. I got it charged. So it probably leaks a little bit. So I'm gonna get that fixed. I'm gonna get that fixed properly, but again, it's not a priority. The priority, hold on, let me walk around the engine and show you a few more things here. Like for example, like if you look at all these hoses, like right here, that's kind of been put together with some things, and these hose clamps. Maybe that's probably an okay hose clamp for that. That's just I think that's it going to the heater core, I think. So if you look at all these clamps on the hoses, for example, like here, these are not the right clamps. So eventually I'll get the real deal and put up there. But for now, it's okay. I'm going to change these hoses out. They feel okay. They don't feel bad. I'll show you why in a second. But But over here, what else? Nothing much else to say other than the spark plugs are kind of buried down here, but everything is pretty original. And you're gonna see more of this. Again, I'm just giving an overview. I just want to show you exactly what it looked like under the hood. It's just how it should be. It's just again, when I say how it should be, it's nothing been swapped. It's no modifications, like anything serious. Looks like the only thing here that might not be original, maybe all that stuff over there is original, but I definitely don't look like that alternator is original. Now, the main priority, which I'm gonna be doing today, is flushing this coolant. First of all, before we even go any further, I wanna show you this. This is the wrong cap. This is supposed to be a 15-pound cap. This is a 6, it's just basically a 7-pound cap, which is half of what it should be. And the cap helps increase the boiling point of the coolant. So this is the wrong cap. You know, look, you see little things like that, but when you take this cap off, let's go ahead and get that off there. Let's take a look at that. You see all that rust and that water? And then if you look down, yeah, see, I don't know how if you're gonna be able to see down in here, no. But you see down in there all that rust, I guess, I don't know, I'm blocking the camera. But anyway, you get the point. You see how bad that is? So I'm gonna flush this out today. And that's happening right now, like gonna happen today, like as soon as I finish this part of this video right here. And I might tack it on to this part here. And even look at all this, I got a new radiator. That's why I'm gonna basically change all of this stuff, change the thermostat, change the, I don't know if I'm gonna change the water pump yet, but I don't think it's necessarily a need to just yet. But anyway, what we'll do real quick, let's see if I can get this. Give me a second here. Give me 1 second. What we're gonna do, we're gonna take a look. Wait a minute, if I can get my camera to stand over here, we're gonna do this. All right, so I got this this hygrometer here. So we're gonna, I've already measured the coolant, but I'm just doing in case nobody ever seen it. This is a cool thing. So you just stick it in here, and basically it just kind of tells you what, you fill it up to the line. And you look at all that, what color that is. Go ahead and pull that out. Just squeeze a little bit of that out because it's supposed to be up to the line there. It's a little bit too much. Let's see. Let me get it to the line there. Hold on. I'm not good at this. God, well, wait a minute. What's going on here? Why I can't get it to the line here? Okay, that's close enough. All right, so we take a look at this. Wow. Now this here is amazing. Look at that coolant line. That should be around a negative 37 C or minus 34 F. This coolant is terrible. It's so bad. And that's because they have rust in there is basically reducing the properties. So anyway, we're about to flush this out because that's my #1 concern. And then second of all, we're going to change the oil. So anyway, I'm tired of talking about this. I've been looking at this for a few days, and well, let me go ahead and do that. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is that on my way home, while the engine didn't run hot, the temperature gauge got really close to the red mark. Now, I don't even know how accurate the temperature gauge is, but anyway, I knew something was up with this system and really the coolant needs to be changed. So I'm gonna just go ahead and use, I'm gonna flush it out. I'm gonna use this stuff here. This stuff here, I just read it back. I didn't know it's only good for up to 3 gallons. I got 4.2 gallons in this car, but I'm gonna go ahead and put this one. I'm probably gonna do this more than once. Maybe not back to back, but I'm gonna clean that out. And this is the product we're gonna use. So anyway, let me get that. Let me get to work in here. And one last thing I got to show you. I got me a 20-gallon concrete mixing tub here. And so this is where all my coolant is going to be going. And I'm going to have to transfer it out of here into buckets. And I'll take those buckets away to the hazardous waste site right down the road here. But I got this. I thought this was a good idea because it's so much, because I'm going to probably back flush it. So it's going to be coming from lots of places. So this right here should cover essentially everywhere that fluid is going to drop. And again, if you want something like this here, obviously this is not a sponsor or whatever, but I picked this up from Home Depot. You can pick them up probably from any hardware store, but this is a 20-gallon concrete mixing tub. Or maybe they even got it listed this as multi-purpose tub, so you can use it for lots of things. Anyway, so this thing here is going to be used for coolant And it's also going to be used for, because again, I've been wanting to change the transmission fluids in my truck, and I'm probably going to be changing the transmission fluids in this car. Oh, we'll talk about that in a later video, but I may be able to, this car may be a good candidate for changing the transmission fluid, but we'll see. But anyway, this pan right here is going to do it. All right, boys, so it looked like because it's physically impossible to get to this radiator hose clamp screw to unscrew it from the bottom. You have to go from the top. And actually, this is totally fine with me. I just got to make sure I can line it up, make sure I got a light so I can see where I'm putting the, yeah. Maybe if I come in on this side, it might be a little bit better here. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better there. If I can get it seated on it properly. If I can get that. Because, let's see here, because it's hard for me to see it here. Oh, wait a minute, there we go. Maybe I can just. Maybe I was in the right spot there. Because the screw is just at a slight angle and I'm trying to seat there. Oh, there we go. Got him. Now, let's go under the bottom and take the hose off. This should be okay. All right, so we're down here now. So should just go ahead and be able to drain this right out. I should put my safety glasses on. So, but I got on glasses. I think I can stay back far enough in case if it splashed too much. So I'm gonna take it off kind of easy. I'm gonna kind of ease it off. I'm gonna try to anyway. You know, it's a little. It's just. Oh my God! Look how disgusting that is. I don't know if you're picking that up on screen, but this works great. Little splashity splash. Let me back my camera so I won't get anything on it, but. Little splashity splash, but this is exactly what I wanted right here. Get all this old junk. I should have put some pads in the bottom so it wouldn't splash, but that's okay. But anyway, I got all this out, and we'll go from here, and I'll update you once I get a little further in the process, but I need to focus on this right now. All right, guys, I'm back. I finally got out the thermostat here. Took me a little while to get that out. Got the thermostat housing off here. I actually broke a little something here. You see that little tube right here? Right here? That should, wait a minute, if I can get this thing to come into focus here. Come on, focus, focus, focus. Let's go like this. I'll put a light right here. Maybe if I do it this way. All right, so you see this little tube here? There was another one right here, as you can see right here. I accidentally broke it off. So if you know what that is, let me know. I think this thing takes a thermostat, a coolant temperature sensor, and a sender. I think this is what this right here is. So I probably think if you buy this whole unit here, it's probably okay just for now. But if you know what it is, let me know. But either way, I'm gonna look it up. I'm probably gonna go to O'Reilly's anywhere, somewhere, and get me a couple of gaskets anyway. So let's take a look down inside of here. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see inside of here, but yeah, pretty grody, but not super bad. But what I wanted to show you guys was that you're making some progress here. I wanted to do the Scotty Kilmer method for flushing. So basically, you just take the water hose, and I know you're supposed to use probably distilled water, but in case I'm going to be putting distilled water here anyway with the, later on, because I'm going to flush this out. And you flush it through the thermostat housing, and it comes out through the bottom of the engine, so that way you can go ahead and flush the whole block. I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna flush the radiator out just to make sure all the coolant is out. Because the instructions for this thermal cure here, I'm gonna have to do this twice. Is to drain coolant, flush with water, add 1/4 thermocool and fill. Okay, dry the vehicle 3 to 4 hours up to several days. Yeah. Drain the coolant system and flush 3 or 4 times. Refill with high quality coolant. Yeah. And it also said this is only good for 3 gallons. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm probably going to end up doing this more than once. So again, because I want to really get this clean, because I'm not ready to have to change the radiator yet. Although it doesn't look that bad, because it looks like on this car. Let me see if I can show you real quick. If I can actually, give me 1 second here. Let me put this here on. I don't know if you, yeah, I think you can see this here. If I can get my light right here. Looks like the, right behind here, looks like the, where the light is actually flashing, that's I believe that is the transmission line cooler. So that's looks to be totally separate from the radiator. And so it's on the front side of the radiator on top of that. And the lines are not running through this some kind of way. So it looks like if I just take this shroud off and probably take the fan and all of that stuff, fan clutch and fan off, I'll be able to sort of probably take this out without much, you know, it's probably gonna be some brackets and stuff involved, but not a whole lot. But looks like a, you know, relatively easy job here. So let's, let me set the camera right here. I want you guys to see how this is gonna come out through the bottom. Let me put a little, some light here so we can see how's it going here. And let's focus the camera just a little bit this way. All right, so let me put my light on now so I can see where my headlight go. Here we go. And let me get me some paper towel so I can kind of stifle anything that might backflow out of the thermostat, where the thermostat housing would go. I don't know if I can actually, but we'll see. Let me see, am I gonna hit the camera? I think I need a little bit more of this water hose here. I think I moved the camera, that's okay, it should be fine. All right, so let me get prepared here. I don't know if I can get down. Anyway, I'm gonna just spray it. I'm gonna just go ahead. All right, I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, fire in the hole. Hold up. I'm starting to see what it looks like myself here. Oh yeah, she's coming right on out. So let me keep doing that till it runs clear. Let's see what it's looking like. No, not quite clear yet. It probably will never be perfectly clear, but it'll probably be a little bit clearer than that, I'd imagine. Go a little while longer. Again, I don't know how long this is going to take, but again, that thing could take a while. Okay, do it a little while longer. Yeah, that looks clear enough. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and do the radiator the same way. And looks like my battery is about to die here, so I'll get back with you here shortly once I get to another milestone here in this process. All right, so there's been a slight change of plan here. Because I did not have two of these, I went to the store and got two of these. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna obviously put both of these in the system. And I got another one of these on order because this right here is supposed to be really good at rust. It's called a vapor rust coolant system, excuse me, rust remover. This right here says coolant system cleaner, but it says cooling channels radiator. So if you look right here, it says it removes buildup, gunk, grime, corrosion, and rust. So corrosion and rust is the last thing on this list here. So assuming that it probably will work and get some stuff out, but probably not good as this stuff for rust anyway. So anyway, the plan is I'm gonna do this more than once because I want to make sure, because again, I'm probably gonna end up changing the radiator at some point, but I don't want to change it no time soon because I just want to make the car's in good working condition overall, but I just want to sort of make sure we don't have an overheating problem. And once I get that, get that down pat, change the oil, put my tires on it, see, then I can start doing more stuff so I can actually start test driving it more and things like that. But let me get this stuff in the system here, get everything back here together, and we're gonna take it for a little rip. All right, boys, so we're back here with a little bit of live data. As you can see here, this is the Easy Scan 6000. Look like my check engine light is on, but I think when you hook the Scan 2 to it while the car is running, it does that, but when you unplug it, it goes away because there's no code in the car. But I'm interested in this coolant temperature, and I want to monitor it while I'm driving around. So let me hit the road here a little bit, and hopefully I'll get back with you shortly. All right, so we're on the way to get some ethanol free, and the AC does work, by the way. It ain't super cold, but it's cold. I think, again, it might have a leak in it because he did say he just charged it up, but it works. The AC works, and I'm glad of that because it's pretty hot here today in North Carolina. One quick thing here, my tack hand right here is jumping a little bit, and that's because I know I accidentally created a vacuum leak when I took everything off the top of the carburetor and moved a lot of stuff out the way. I took the thermostat out. So and once I put everything back together, I heard the leak, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna be flushing this again soon. So I'm not gonna be driving it that much, so I just left the vacuum leak. So, but it's okay for now. Actually, I just noticed something that my not only was my tack hand jumping, but also my battery hand was jumping. I think what the deal is when I just turned the AC off. So I'm gonna turn it back on. Let me see what'll happen. Turn it back on to max. Let's see where the battery go down. Now the battery hand went down when I was at idle. So what I'm thinking is that the belt tensions ain't right. So I got a strand tension gauge at home. So that's of course somewhat of a priority, but we'll get around to that soon. But for right now, while I'm driving, everything looks good. But when I get down to an idle, this thing here will jump, and that one will jump as well. And it has to do, and I just realized it's actually when I turn the AC off, it'll stabilize. So we'll take a look at that here when we stop at the gas station. But yeah, looking at the temperature here, we got about 190. I think this might be close to operating temperature. I might guess. I haven't looked up the spec there, but I'd guess between 190 and 220 is probably operating temperature. And if you look at the gauge right there, that gauge probably isn't super accurate where it's supposed to be. So what I'm trying to do is see what temperature that it says it is on a computer and see where that needle should be at. Well, in the case until I get it actually fixed, because I'm repair this thing myself. I'm gonna learn how to take it apart and fix it. So anyway, once we get on up the road here, we're gonna back roads in New Hill, North Carolina, heading on out here to Highway 64. We're near Lake Jordan, and anywhere there's a lake, there's going to be ethanol-free gas because I think people put ethanol-free gas in their boats and stuff. So anyway, I'll let y'all guys enjoy the ride here a little bit, and we'll catch up when we get to the gas station. it slow down. I think we got the ethanol free. I think this is the gas station here, guys. And let's go take a look and see what we got here. I think this is the one here. What y'all youngsters know about putting gas in the trunk of a car and using your cap to hold it open? Little tune up in a bottle. Let's see if we can get this in here. All right. All right, guys, this is going to be it for now. When I get back around to doing more to the car, and I will very soon, it's going to be a slow process, obviously, so you're going to see a lot of this car for sure, and it's going to be for many years to come, actually. So anyway, that's it. Ethanol free, 90 octane in the Monte Carlo SS. You take care, guys, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.